What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Say What Barstool Parlay. We are back. I'm a lot tanner than you guys saw me last time. Real burnt. Scores hit me hard, guys. Scores hit me hard. But we're back, guys. We're drinking fancy this season, straight out the glass. And I gotta tell you guys, it feels so good to be back. Like all you guys who have been subscribed and watching this stuff for a while, you guys already know. Freaking last studio, we had all sorts of flooding problems. We had all sorts of nonsense. We had some video delays there. But guess what, guys? We moved. We're living on the beach now. We're on the beach. And we still got the bar. We still got the backdrop. We got all moved in. We got the studio set up. We got the fourth behind us. And we're back. So welcome back, guys. I'm excited to be back. I hope you're excited to be back watching us. If you guys have watched the prequel from last night for the new season, get excited. We got hosts on hosts on hosts on hosts on hosts coming, guys. It's going to be crazy. We're turning it up a notch. Better topics. More guests, a lot of new stuff. But for the first one, guys, I just want to sit here, just me and you guys, and go through some of the new stuff that's been happening. Because this weekend we're gonna be shooting in Nashville. Shout out to Brandon Myers, he's coming back, guys. We're gonna be down in Nashville this weekend. I'm gonna be shooting with Brandon. That's gonna be an absolute blast. I'm excited about that. So. For any of you guys who are excited about Brandon being back on the show, shout out to B. Myers. Love you, bro. And we're excited to have him back on. We're going to be shooting in Nashville. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited. But yeah, guys. It's been a long hiatus. It's been a while. And I'm just glad to be back. Glad to be back, guys. But yeah, guys, we're going to be doing a lot of different stuff this season, a lot of new stuff. From, like I said, going down to Nashville, doing like some traveling stuff with some of our guest hosts like Brandon, possibly David Watkins, going to Lexington, hanging out with him. A lot of new stuff, guys, that's going to be coming out this season. A lot of cool stuff. And I hope you guys are excited to check it out. I'm excited to show it to you guys. So get freaking ready. But anyway, let's get into it. What are we talking about today? What are we talking about? What are we on? Well, let me tell you guys. We're talking about a lot of stuff during the hiatus that's been happening here in the sports world today. We're gonna have some other topics, some deep stuff that we're gonna be talking about with Brandon in Nashville. But today, guys, it's the first night back. We're gonna keep it light. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some drinks. This is Barstool Parlay. And we're just going to keep it rolling. So, we're talking about quarterback movement this year. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about all the quarterbacks that have been moving all over the place in this offseason. And I'm giving you guys my top grades. Good or bad? Good move, bad move. That's what we're getting into tonight. Do I think the move's good or bad? And maybe it's just a neutral move. We'll see. So let's jump into this, guys. Let's get into these moves here. So I got a list of the top free agent quarterback moves that have happened this year, and we're going to talk about possible side effects of those moves. And like I said, my overall grades of whether it's a good move or a bad move. So let's jump into it here, guys. First person we're going to talk about here, which is a very interesting move, if you ask me. If you ask me, it's very interesting. Jameis Winston. Let's talk about Jameis Winston for a second, okay? So, Jameis Winston got signed by the Saints, and that was a really strange move for me. And for me, I'm going to come right out off the bat. Bad move. Bad move. And like I said, we got guest hosts coming on, guys. Ethan, I know this is going to be something we're going to be talking about when he's on the show. He's a Saints fan. We're going to be talking Saints with him. So get excited about that. But anyway, Jameis Winston, for me, bad move. I don't like it. Here's why. Couple reasons. One, Jameis Winston is a turnover machine. The Saints have a very precise, precision-based offense, okay? So with having Jameis Winston coming in there, it just doesn't make sense to me. And the main reason behind all the, well, does he fit the offense and this and that, here's the main reason why, guys. I was never a Jameis Winston fan, okay? The guy's got tremendous athletic potential. But, guys, when we're talking NFL quarterbacks, which is something to keep in mind throughout this whole video, when we're talking NFL quarterbacks, we're talking about what's upstairs, guys. Tim Tebow, any NFL quarterback, can put wide open passes in practice, 98 out of 100, right on the money between the numbers. And if it's not on the money, it's over here, it's up here, it's catchable, okay? So we're not talking about the talent of throwing the football at this point. When it comes to NFL, it's all upstairs, guys. It's all mental. It's film study. It's preparation. It's all about what you're doing to prepare yourself mentally. Tom Brady does not have a big arm, guys. This is another guy we're going to talk about later. But Tom does not have a big arm. Tom's not athletic. Tom cannot throw from a bunch of different multiple arm platforms like Patrick Mahomes, okay? The big thing with these guys is the fact that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and some of these guys, now Peyton did have a bigger arm for a long point in his career, he had a huge arm, but most of these guys, it was all upstairs, guys. It's all upstairs. Breeze, Manning, Rodgers, Brady. It's all upstairs, guys. The top quarterbacks have it upstairs. They know where to throw and where to go before they even take the snap. Jameis Winston does not have that upstairs. That's not in his wheelhouse, okay? He is completely confused by coverages. He doesn't handle pressure well. Even though he's athletic, he can get away from pressure and make some throws off balance and stuff and get away and, you know, make some just, you know, garbage time backyard football throws. That's not a consistent offense in the NFL. That's not a consistent way to win and not a consistent way to move the football and consistently have a successful offense. So that's the one reason why I don't really like it for the Saints, is he doesn't fit their system, I don't think. Now, they do like to stretch the ball down the field, and Jameis does have a big arm, so he can stretch the ball. But he's not smart, and the Saints have a very complex, a very, you know, check and balance oriented offense from the line of scrimmage. They're checking, they're moving. Breeze is moving a lot of different stuff, and it's precise timing routes and stuff. Even those deep throws down the field, they're timing routes, guys. And that's a real problem for me with Jameis Winston on this roster. Now, the other problem for me, which is the biggest problem, and for some of you guys who haven't seen some of the other videos, go back and check them out. But Taysom Hill is on this roster. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, well, Taysom Hill, he's a gadget player. Taysom Hill was a quarterback in college, okay? And he's a quarterback on the roster. Sean Payton came out and said Taysom Hill is the next Steve Young. So Sean Payton, if you believe in Taysom Hill that much, that he's the next Steve Young, who's a Hall of Fame quarterback, he's the next Steve Young, why did you pick up Jameis Winston? What's the point? If Drew Brees gets hurt, you put in Taysom Hill. And you know, for all you Saints fans, God forbid Drew Brees doesn't get hurt, and Taysom can continue to sit and learn behind Drew and how to run this offense properly. And he was supposed to be getting some snaps this year. And then he takes over for Drew and brings a whole new dimension for the offense because, yeah, right now he is a gadget guy just to keep him on the field because he's so athletic. He plays tight end. He plays running back. He plays quarterback. He plays on kick return, punt return. I mean, he plays everywhere. He's an ultimate gadget guy. So he brings that whole other level of athleticism to the field. So if you can teach him to think like Drew and have that Michael Vick, Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Watson athletic ability to go along with upstairs learning from Drew, which in case you guys don't understand, he played at BYU, Brigham Young. That's a very difficult school. Okay? It's not an easy academic school. Okay? He's very smart. And you telling me that Drew Brees can put all that knowledge in his head and then he can bring the athletic tools that Drew doesn't have to add a whole nother dimension to that Saints offense? And for all you guys who say, well, he's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. Guys, he's played quarterback in the preseason. Watch his preseason tape. It's very impressive. I'll tell you that right now. It's very, very impressive. I understood where the Saints were coming from last year where they played Bridgewater because they needed to build his value to get rid of him, to trade him. And I understood that. I didn't think it was a good move for them. It turned out to be. Bridgewater won a lot of games. I'm not going to argue the result. But I thought they should have been getting Taysom Hill ready at that point. Now with Jameis Winston there, it looks like he's the backup automatically. But what about Taysom Hill? And Taysom Hill's already said, hey, I want to be a Saint, and I want to be here, but if we're not going to play, I'm going to leave. Saints fans, you don't want that. I'm telling you right now, you do not want Taysom Hill to leave. Now, he could go to some garbage team and look like crap because he's playing on a garbage team. But if he goes somewhere that's got a good roster and good coach, and they're a quarterback away from being a serious playoff contender, Saints fans, you're going to regret it. And you're going to regret it for a long time. Keep that in mind. This was supposed to be getting Taysom Hill ready. Now, Jameis Winston was a good deal. Don't get me wrong. For his salary and everything, it was a good deal. But you guys were supposed to be getting Taysom Hill ready. You blew it. You really messed that up. Because now it doesn't look like Taysom's going to be getting snaps. I don't know what you're doing, Saints. Figure it out. But Taysom Hill needs to be your future. You want to continue to win games? Jameis Winston isn't the point. Isn't the answer, guys. Everybody, well, Sean Payton's the quarterback whisperer. Don't give me that crap, okay? Sean Payton was on the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. You know who still threw interceptions? Tony Romo! I know Sean Payton really well. He was on the Dallas coaching staff with Bill Parcells. Tony Romo still threw a lot of fucking interceptions. All right? Drew Brees is phenomenal. Drew Brees, I mean, this is a similar to Belichick's story. Now, Sean Payton, I believe, is a lot better coach than Belichick. You put me on the record for that. But a lot of Sean Payton's success is he's got one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game playing for him, and that makes his offense look really, really good. Jameis Winston is not Drew Brees. He never will be Drew Brees, and you guys are never going to win with Jameis Winston. The guy won Defensive Player of the Year as an offensive player because he threw 32 freaking interceptions last year. The guy was an absolute train wreck. He was the only thing holding the Buccaneers back. Guys, look at the Buccaneers roster on paper. It's really good. It's really good. He's not. And I didn't like him from the minute he was drafted, guys. I didn't like him at Florida State. Why? Because everybody said, oh, look at this athletic talent. He's like 6'5", and he runs around, and he's got this big arm. Yeah, and I said, yeah, and he kind of looks like the next Jamarcus Russell. Is he better than Jamarcus Russell? Yeah, I mean, Jamarcus Russell he showed up to camp like 280 and just out of shape. And I mean, a whole other thing with Jamarcus Russell. But overall, talent-wise, if Jamarcus Russell would have been in shape, studied, played, and everything the way he's supposed to, he would have been the next Jamarcus Russell. Just shockingly average to below average. Why? Because some guys just have problems with interceptions. Tony Romo, Jameis Winston, Mark Sanchez, Eli Manning. Some guys just have problems with interceptions, guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. They just will always throw picks. Brett Favre. You can be great doing it like Brett Favre if you know how to win. Jameis Winston doesn't know how to win. It's more bad than it is good. It's more picks than it is not picks. He got a lot of yards. Okay? Yards are good. I care about wins and losses. And most of those losses were because of Jameis Winston turnovers. Bad move, guys. Saints, bad move. Don't like it at all. Let's move on. So next one we're going to talk about. I'm super excited about this, guys. Well, let me back that up for a second. As a Cowboys fans, guys, which I'm sure most of you guys who already watch the channel know that, as a Cowboys fan, I'm super excited about this, and I'm also not excited about this. Tom Brady to the Patriots, Oh my God, he's been there for so long, even I can't get it right, guys. Nobody can understand that Tom Brady's not a Patriot anymore. What the heck is going on? Tom Brady's on another team? What? Even I can't get it right, guys. So, Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. Okay, there we go. Buccaneers. Tom to Tampa. Tom to Tampa. I'm super excited about this, guys, because if you haven't watched the Belichick versus Brady video, go check it out. I make my point very clear. Brady has carried Belichick his entire career. Look at Belichick's stats previous to Tom Brady. They're not good. He's a sub-500 coach. Brady carried him. The only time he's ever had winning seasons is with Tom Brady. You can say the Matt Castle season, but they got bounced out the playoffs. He's never won Super Bowls without Tom Brady and been successful in the playoffs. All right, it is what it is. So let's move on from that. Tom Brady in Tampa. Gronk's coming back. I know a lot of people are saying, well, what about Gronk? He hasn't played. Maybe he's out of shape. Gronk's coming back. He's going to be a huge contributor. But here's what you guys are missing. Gronk does not have to be Gronk. Why? Because they have one of the best tight ends in football in O.J. Howard in Tampa Bay. So he doesn't need Gronk to be Gronk. He just needs Gronk to be good. A good Robin to O.J. Howard. But if Gronk can be Gronk, God, him and O.J. Howard combined, look out NFL. That's literally a repeat of Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. Okay? Even sports fans, you guys should know who Aaron Hernandez is. He was one of the most athletic tight ends to ever play in the NFL. They put this guy at running back at points. He was so freaking fast at like 270. All right? This is going to be Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski all over again. Which was one of Tom's best seasons, by the way. Keep that in mind. Anyway, receiving core. He's never had a Mike Evans except for when he had Randy Moss. And guess what? Like we said, Belichick's not that good. He cut Randy Moss for no reason. Randy had a really good season and he cut him because he didn't want to pay him. He's never had a Mike Evans since he had Randy Moss for 1 year. And then they quit throwing to Moss. And then they didn't want to pay Moss. And then they cut Moss. Never had a Mike Evans. Never had a Chris Godwin. Never had this consistent of a receiving core with O.J. Howard, Evans, Godwin, Gronkowski. Guys, it's getting wild in Tampa. And Bruce Arians is an offensive-minded head coach. So it's not like Tom's going to some coach who doesn't know how to coach offense and Tom's the guy running the show. Bruce Arians is not only an offensive coach, he's a quarterback whisperer. Tampa they're my early favorite to win the Super Bowl out of the NFC. My NFC picks are Tampa. As a Cowboys fan, guys, it pains me to say it, but hey, this is raw takes, no apologies. I got to be objective. Tampa's looking good, guys. That defense is solid. They're spotty at times, but some of that's because Jameis is constantly turning the ball over. They're constantly on the field. They get some points scored on them, and they're worn out from being on the field because of turnovers. They got a good defense. They got a monster offensive roster. Guys, Tampa's impressive. On paper, they're impressive. Now, we always have to see if everything's going to click. Everything's going to come together the way it's supposed to. But on paper, they're very impressive, guys. And my biggest concern with Tampa right now is the whole COVID situation and that kind of taking away from the off season and everything like that, where Brady's not going to really be able to get consummated to the offense the way that he should, okay? So that's my only concern with Tampa. But on paper, guys, they look really good. Tampa's a huge threat. Got to look out for Tampa. And they're definitely my pick to win the NFC South. Sorry, Saints. Tampa's my pick. But let's move on. So we got Tom down there. I think that's going to be a huge success. He's going to win the Brady versus Belichick dilemma. Patriots are going to be absolute trash this year. They just got another big signing, quarterback, who we're going to be talking about later. Stay tuned. But let's talk about what I think is the worst move. The absolute worst move of the offseason, quarterback-wise. Phillip Rivers to Indianapolis. Now, I know what everybody's saying. It's not that bad. The coach for Indy was his offensive coordinator, and that was Philip's best year. And guys, yeah, Phillip Rivers was also like 33 or 34 or something at that point. Like, I don't even know how long it's been since Nick Wright was there. Phillip Rivers could have been 28, all right? So don't quote me on like when he was in the Chargers. Like, I didn't look up when he coached Phillip Rivers, okay? But I know that was one of Rivers' best seasons when Wright was the head coach. Okay. That's fine. Phillip Rivers is not Phillip Rivers anymore. And Phillip Rivers is one of those guys. Tony Romo, Jameis Winston, Eli Manning, some of these guys, they just have interception problems. Phillip Rivers is another one of those guys. He throws a lot of picks. Well, guess what? Last year, guys, the wheels fell off. Like, you see, all these guys like Max Kellerman and all these rest guys talking about, well, he's just going to fall off the cliff. He's just going to fall off the cliff. Well, guess what? Phillip Rivers is one of those guys who last year fell off the freaking cliff, all right? Fell off the cliff. This dude at points last year looked like he was throwing a medicine ball, all right? And listen, I'm objective with quarterbacks. I understand. I played quarterback, all right? I played through high school. I played through college. I played semi-pro. I've played quarterback, all right? I understand the game. I understand coverages, tape, how to break stuff down, which is why I'm always coming at you guys about guys like Taysom Hill, Johnny Manziel, guys who are swept under the rug. P.J. Walker, who's the backup in Carolina, should be starting over Bridgewater. I bring these names out to you guys because when you watch film as a quarterback and you understand how they're reading coverages and how they're making throws and how they're doing things and running offenses, you can really start to dictate who's good and who's bad. And even when they make a throw and it's on the money and you go, oh, well, the guy dropped it. That's not his fault. That was a good throw. It should have been caught. I watch that stuff, guys. I don't just look at numbers of completion percentage and interception. I look at, was it a good throw? Was it a bad throw? Was it tipped and intercepted? Was it the receiver's fault? Guys, when you watch Phillip Rivers last year, he's throwing a medicine ball. Like, he looks like he's just heaving that thing with his weird sidearm, little, like, cock sidearm motion that he does. This little move. He's got the worst throwing form in football. Somehow he's got a massive arm doing it. I don't know how anybody can throw doing this. I still don't get it when I watch Rivers. But anyway, guys, he clearly fell off the cliff. I mean, the ball, he had no velocity. He had no distance. He couldn't throw the deep ball anymore, which Rivers has always been known as a pretty big, one of the bigger arm guys. Never a huge arm guy, but a big arm guy. He didn't have the distance. He had the velocity. His accuracy was all over the place. And this is one thing where I agree with Colin Cowherd. The NFL is moving towards young, athletic quarterbacks, big arm quarterbacks. Phillip Rivers is, and non-mistake prone. Phillip Rivers is unathletic, not a big arm quarterback anymore, mistake prone. And old. Guys, I don't, like, for you Colts fans, it's going to be a disaster, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. Like, guys, the Phillip Rivers experiment is going to be a disaster. Here's what you guys forget. Jacoby Brissett got injured. He came back. He didn't really look good after the injury late, but you guys also got to remember, when you're coming back from an injury, there's some things that go into it. You kind of lose your rhythm during the seasons and things like this. Jacoby Brissett looked good early. And here's the thing. Do I think Jacoby Brissett's like a Pro Bowl quarterback or some answer for the Colts? No, I don't. I think he's got that potential if you want to let him develop. But I understand that the Colts are in a Super Bowl window with the roster and everything they have now, and they want to plug somebody in there that can jumpstart that roster that they have currently and make a push for a couple seasons for a Super Bowl. I get that with Jacoby Brissett, where he's not that guy yet, and I get that. But he's also really cheap. You can put a lot of guys around Jacoby to take pressure off of him to get to a Super Bowl. Guys, perfect example. The San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo, newsflash. You watch the Super Bowl? He's not very good. He's shockingly average. He's a game manager. Just like when the Giants went to the Super Bowl, and played the Patriots with that really good defense with Strahan and all the boys, and Eli Manning never threw for more than 160 yards in a playoff game and only threw for like $170 or something in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that was Jimmy Garoppolo. And there was clear points where you could see the play calling. They didn't trust Jimmy to throw it. And then they had to throw it in the Super Bowl. And what happened? They got burnt because Jimmy's not that good. Well, guess what, guys? Jacoby, you could have a San Francisco-type season where if you support him properly, you put a whole bunch of people like San Francisco did, you can have a guy who's not that good like Jacoby and make a Super Bowl push. It's possible. What you're not going to do is put a guy who's average, like Jacoby Brissett. He's average. Now, he has his days like everybody else where he plays below average. But most of the time, he's average. Look at his stats. Look at the games last year. He played pretty well, and the Colts were off to a roll early. He's average. Now, with development, could he become above average or a good quarterback? Yeah. But it's going to take some time to develop. Guys, he's only started twice. And this was the first year he's ever started with an actual roster on him. For you Colts fans, you know, when he came in for Andrew Luck, that first year that he came in from the Patriots, that roster was a disaster. The offensive line was garbage. You guys had no defense. You guys have rebuilt the entire roster. And on paper, I got to say, it's pretty impressive. And this was the first time he played on a roster like that. Yeah, it may take him some time to develop. But let him freaking develop, guys. Let him do it. Because right now, it's, what do we do? Well, you know what you don't do? You don't put an average quarterback like Jacoby and bench him for a bad quarterback like Phillip Rivers. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. Over the course of his career, am I saying Phillip Rivers is a bad career quarterback? No. But is he bad at this point in his career? Guys, the wheels fell off. Phillip Rivers should not have been signed by anybody and should be retired right now. The wheels fell off. The dude can't throw anymore. He's just throwing wild interceptions. And, guys, I hate to tell you, that Chargers roster, pretty damn good last year. Everybody's saying the Chargers are a dark horse playoff team now that they have a new quarterback. So the Chargers, with a new quarterback, are a dark horse playoff team, and everybody's saying the Colts made a good move by getting the guy who supposedly held them back from the playoffs, because they didn't make a whole lot of moves. They didn't really make any moves. They just switched quarterbacks, drafted a guy, and got Tyrod Taylor to maybe be the placeholder for the new guy in Justin Herbert. So they get two quarterbacks, and then everybody says dark horse playoff team. And then the quarterback that they lost that held them from getting apparently to the playoffs, because the roster's the same. So minus quarterback equals playoff roster. Obviously the quarterback's the problem. So you take that problem quarterback, put him in Indy, who was a dark horse possible playoff team last year before Brissett got hurt and got out of rhythm and everything kind of went downhill towards the end of the year. And then say, oh, Colts have a chance to be a playoff team, maybe dark horse Super Bowl. What? Come on, guys. It's a disaster. Phillip Rivers is a freaking disaster. This is the worst move of the offseason. Phillip Rivers is one of the worst quarterbacks in football right now. And to clarify it, there's some teams who have like backups like the Cowboys, like with Clayton Thorson. It's like, yeah, there's some 13 practice stream dude. Like, yeah, okay, I'll take Rivers over him. But let's be real, guys. Out of the out of all 32 starting quarterbacks, let's be real. I'd rather have Mitch Trubisky, who I think is the second worst quarterback in football, behind Phillip Rivers at this point in his career. I'd rather have Mitch Trubisky than Phillip Rivers. At least Mitch, when it breaks down, he can run a little bit, do something with it. I mean, guys, take Jameis Winston. Jesus. Like, guys, Phillip Rivers is done. I mean, and it's sad because I've always liked Rivers, and he's been a phenomenal quarterback. He's in my opinion, a Hall of Fame quarterback for his career. But it's just sad because he went up and kind of and fell off the cliff. And his cliff was like Sears Tower drop off. Like, it was bad, guys. Phillip's done. And you can put Nick Reich in, well, he knows what Phillip does well. Well, guess what? Phillip used to be able to throw 50 yards on a strike. He can't do that anymore. So Nick Reich doesn't know what the heck he can do anymore. He has no freaking clue. Because Phillip can't do what Phillip used to be able to do anymore. It's going to be a disaster. Heads up, guys. Disaster in Indianapolis. Should have stuck with Jacoby Brissett. I know he's still on the roster, but you should have stuck with him because the whole Phillip Rivers experiment, the worst signing of the offseason. Horrible pick. Now, if a team who wasn't like Super Bowl bound or playoff bound wanted to sign Phillip Rivers as an interim quarterback, I understand that. I get that. Maybe a team like Jacksonville, who say, we signed Phillip Rivers on the condition of maybe him, maybe Minshew wins the job, but just to bring in the veteran to, hey, maybe he tutors Minshew into a better quarterback. I get that. I'm okay with that. But to take a team like Indianapolis, who dark horse playoff team, and then throw a disaster behind center, stupid, guys. Stupid. All right, so let's talk Andy Dalton. I'm not going to touch base on this too long because we've had multiple Dalton versus Dak videos with this whole Dak Prescott contract controversy going on. All right, so we're not going to touch base on this too long because if you haven't seen any of those videos, guys, go back, look at them, watch them. They're good. But Andy Dalton, fantastic move by the Cowboys. This is a winning move. So we got Jameis Winston, that's a loss. Bad move. We got Tom Brady, that's a good move. We got Phillip Rivers, that's a super bad move. And we got Andy Dalton, that's a great move. Now, like I said, is there other options I would have preferred other than Andy Dalton? Yeah. You guys haven't watched the videos, go back and look at the first video on this channel. I am still on the train of the Cowboys should have signed Johnny Manziel because he's a better talent. He's young. You can take over from Dak Prescott, etc., 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 etc. If you haven't seen the video, go back and watch it, okay? But Andy Dalton, kind of a victim of circumstance in that dysfunctional Cincinnati organization, that dysfunctional coaching staff with Marvin Lewis. But guess what? When Andy Dalton had a good offensive line in front of him, he's a Pro Bowler. Made the playoffs 5 years in a row. When the offensive line disappeared, some of the receivers disappeared, Andy Dalton wasn't. Now he's got receivers out the butt. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Blake Jarwin. Really good offensive line. Better running back than he's had his entire career in Zeke to take pressure off him. Guys, now I know Dak signed the franchise tag and Andy's probably not going to play. But if Andy does play, guys, look out. This is a great move. Look out. Because the Cowboys, they had no backup, guys. Like, all you Cowboys fans out, Ben DiNucci. Haven't checked videos, check it out. We talked about Ben DiNucci in the draft prospect and some of the earlier videos, like the one where we talked about Johnny Manziel. If you guys haven't checked those videos, check them out. Ben DiNucci is not the answer from James Madison. Ben DiNucci's garbage. He's not good. Watch his film. His highlight tape's 2 minutes. How do you play 4 years in college, Division I college, and have a 2-minute highlight tape? You ever seen some of the top prospects? Go back and look at Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes. Look at their highlight tapes. They're a little bit longer than 2 minutes. All right? It's usually about 25 minutes per season. These guys got like 3 hours of highlight tapes. This guy's got 2 for 4 seasons. And his Pittsburgh isn't even on there. He's only got 2 seasons of James Madison on his highlight tape that are only 2 minutes. Come on. Ben DiNucci, get the fuck out of here with that. All right? So they had no backup quarterback. So they had to get a viable backup in case Dak Prescott got hurt. A guy like Andy Dalton, not only is a viable backup, like I said, there's a few guys where I'm not big on switching your offensive scheme between quarterbacks, especially like somebody gets hurt, it's a mid-game switch. Andy's not, he's a little bit mobile. He's kind of Tony Romo mobile. He's not Dak Prescott mobile. So I don't like that, hey, well, now we got to switch to more of a pocket passing team mid-game. But to be fair, like I said, you got Andy Dalton for a steal, guys. You're paying him like $2 million, all right? It's $7 million in incentives, which Dak Prescott signed the franchise tag. You're never going to pay him because he's never going to play unless Dak gets hurt. And if Dak gets hurt, guys, look out for Andy Dalton. Look out. Things could change in Dallas. Andy, great signing. They need a backup quarterback, and not only did they get one, they got a Pro Bowl caliber backup. Great signing in Dallas. Let's move on. So, outside of that, Teddy Bridgewater. Let's go down this road, okay? This is one of the moves I'm going to say good move. Good move, but I would have been more risky. And we talked about him earlier. Good move. Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0. Teddy Bridgewater is a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. He is a starting caliber quarterback. But there's a player on the roster, and I've told you guys this before. His name is P.J. Walker. If you haven't seen his highlight tape from the XFL, Houston Renegades, look them up. The dude is Johnny Manziel on steroids with a better arm, more accurate, throws from every angle like Patrick Mahomes. He's phenomenal. Look up his highlight tapes. It will blow your mind. I would have signed P.J. Walker as my starting quarterback if I was Carolina and stuck with it. Because also, they still have Will Grier on the roster as the backup. So if it doesn't work out, you can move back and forth between him and Will Grier. And if it doesn't work out, guys, there's quarterback coming out next year. You can get one. Guys, newsflash, Carolina's not a super good roster. They're not really a Super Bowl contender. So what's the worst that can happen? You guys miss the playoffs? You're probably going to miss the playoffs anyway. So, come on. Anyway, P.J. Walker would have been my move, guys, and here's the reason behind it. Matt Rule, who Carolina just hired from Baylor, Matt Rule is the former Temple head coach. Guess who was the quarterback when he head coached Temple? P.J. Walker. Guess who had a bunch of NCAA/school records at Temple? P.J. Walker. Guess who made Matt Rule's offensive scheme look so good that he got the job at Baylor? P.J. Walker. So P.J. Walker is not only, do I think, a phenomenal talent, and I've said this before in videos, guys, go back and look it up. Andrew Luck, he was on the Colts practice squad for a year. And Andrew Luck and Pat McAfee, look it up. Pat McAfee talks about P.J. Walker when he does XFL talk. Look it up. Pat McAfee and Andrew Luck both said, this guy's a phenomenal talent. He just needs a shot. Like, he's amazing. So they both think he's a great talent. It's not just me. Like I said, I'm a quarterback. I watch film, and I look at this guy, and his game tape and everything blows my mind, okay? So, and he's being reunited with Matt Rule from Temple, where he had some of his best seasons of his career as a college football player at Temple playing Matt Rule's system. So he knows the system, he knows Matt, Matt knows him, he knows Matt and his phenomenal talent, and he's young, guys. He's young, he's like 25. And guess what? He's come from the XFL. It costs you peanuts. What type of team can you put around him? Oh my God. Paying him league minimum like $700,000 a year. Oh my God, what type of team can you put around him? Shit. So I like the Bridgewater move because Bridgewater is a starting quarterback. I'm going to say it's a good move, but I would have went more risky with P.J. Walker, and I'm hoping that Carolina's thinking the same way that I am. Keep Bridgewater there for a year or two. Let P.J. get more accustomed to the NFL game, more accustomed to the offense, more accustomed to everything, and then move off of Bridgewater. He'll get a job somewhere. There's going to be some other team that needs starting quarterback in the next couple years. Move P.J. Walker into that starting role. All right? So, let's continue to move on here. Cam freaking Newton. The biggest signing in the last couple weeks, guys. Cam Newton to the Patriots. I told you we were going to talk about this later. Good move, bad move. Oh, man. Cam Newton. Guys, this one's so on the fence for me. Because there's a couple things. One, I think is irrelevant. Honestly, I think it's absolutely irrelevant. I think the Patriots are going to suck regardless. Their offensive line is trash. I know they got a couple draft picks. Their offensive line's trash. Their receiving core is trash. I mean, like, N'Keal Harry, he's not like some breakout receiver yet. Mohamed Sanu was a total bust last year. Julian Edelman is like looking like he's on his last legs of his career and can't go more than 2 games without getting hurt. And they don't have a run game. They don't have a running back. Their defense got exposed the back half of the year. They're not a very good defense. They're shockingly average. So, average to subpar defense, no offensive weapons. Guys, everybody said Tom Brady. Oh, that's the end of Tom Brady. Look what he did for New England. New England's roster putting on paper compared to anybody in the league. On paper, you look at the rosters, you cross Tom Brady's name off the list and look at those rosters and be like, oh my God, they're not going to beat anybody on their schedule. They look like an 0-16 team without Brady on the roster. So, now, this is the one move where I'm calling it a neutral move. It's not good, it's not bad. I can't call it bad because Cam Newton is a good quarterback. I can't call it good because Cam Newton is so far from fitting this system and it's so irrelevant they're going to be bad either way. And Cam's probably going to look bad because New England's so bad that I got to call it a neutral move. Is it an upgrade from Jason Stidham? Yeah, it is. Is it an upgrade from Brian Hoyer? I don't know. And the reason why is I'm not trying to say Brian Hoyer's on the same level as Cam Newton. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is in that offensive scheme and that offensive system, is Brian Hoyer a better fit in that system possibly than Cam Newton? You could argue that. You could. Cam Newton's a better talent. He's a better quarterback. But Brian Hoyer fits that system better. He does. And he's familiar with it. One thing that a lot of people like to leave out is this system in New England is so complex. And their offense, they have so many checks and different audibles and different things and motions and everything. Tom Brady, it took him like almost 7 years to really master New England's system. And this is a guy whose everything's upstairs. And every time you hear players that come in from New England, it's always, well, I don't know if I can really like master this system. I've been here for like 2 years and I still don't know everything. After multiple seasons, guys still don't know everything. Now you want Cam Newton to come in with no pre-camp, all right? No, basically a shortened training camp, no off-season workouts, doesn't even have the playbook because they signed him so late in the year, so he hasn't even had a chance to really look at the playbook. And then on top of that, you're sitting there with, freaking, barely a couple preseason games. And, guys, the biggest thing is Cam Newton doesn't fit in the system. This system is designed around Tom Brady. Quick passes, slot guys, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. We talk about guys like Randy Moss, 1 season, played really well. Other than that, didn't fit in the system. Brandon Lloyd, Michael Floyd, Ocho Cinco. Guys, there's been a lot of big-name receivers out there, which you talked about in the Belichick video. All right? There are a lot of guys in New England. They don't fit. The only guys that fit, Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, Danny Amendola, Wes Welker, tight ends, Aaron Hernandez, Gronk, Ben Watson early in his career, not when he came back. A lot of movement in that offense, and it's all short, intermediate passing game. Cam Newton likes to stretch the ball down the field. He does not fit this offense. He's not a 3-step and get the ball out guy. That's not what he does. So is he an upgrade from Stidham? Yeah. But guys, he's a terrible fit in this offense. And he's a terrible personality fit with Belichick. Belichick's a no-nonsense personality type of guy. Cam Newton's all about me, LA, Hollywood, wearing stuff that looks like it's women's clothing to get attention at a press conference type of guy, okay? Cam Newton's all about Cam Newton. He's all about attention on himself. That's not the Belichick way. I mean, any of you sports fans, the Belichick way, the Belichick way. Well, you know what's not the Belichick way? The Cam Newton way. You ever seen him in a press conference? Not the Belichick way. All right? It's not a good personality fit. Cam Newton's not a guy who's going to sit there and let Belichick ream him in meetings like Tom Brady let Belichick ream him in meetings. He's not a guy who's going to get called out like that. Guys, this whole situation, I think, is going to be a bad fit. It's going to be a disaster. And like I said, even if Cam Newton somehow fits in the system and somehow makes it work, because he is a good quarterback talent. Like, don't get me wrong, this isn't about Cam. This is about the system fit New England. I don't know, guys. I don't see it. I don't see it. The roster isn't there for Cam to succeed. The offense isn't built for Cam. And then not only is he playing in an offense that's not built for him, but he's got no weapons around him to even try to make this system that doesn't fit him work because there's no tools around it. It's a bad situation for Cam, guys. It's a bad situation for Cam. Coaching styles don't fit. The offense doesn't fit. The offensive weapons don't fit. Nothing fits Cam Newton's play style. I think it's a bad fit for New England, bad fit for Cam. But they needed a quarterback. So to go get Cam Newton, they got a quarterback. They needed one. But the quarterback that they got, he's a good quarterback, but he's such a bad fit in that organization, in that system. It's just basically a neutral move, guys. It doesn't move the needle at all. Because the team's so bad with or without Cam. I mean, what are we talking about? They're going from a 3-win team to a 5-win team with Cam? Who cares? They're irrelevant. Guys, they're not going to be good this year. They're not. And you give me the over-under on 5, I'll take the under. But I will tell you. Well, let me say this. You give me the over-under on 7, I'll take the under. But let me say this. If they went like 7-9 or 8-8, it wouldn't surprise me. But even then, guys, you're talking about Cam did everything that he could. He fit as possibly good as he could in this system with no offense. But they're not going to Super Bowl, guys. They're not making the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. So does it really matter if they're 5 wins, 8 wins? No. Cam Newton's not changing life in New England. Bill Belichick made sure that didn't happen. They should have went and drafted a quarterback and then put a bunch of offensive linemen around him, got some more receivers, some weapons, whether they want to draft free agency, went and got some weapons. They didn't do that. Bad fit, guys. Bad fit. This is classic Belichick at his finest. Get a steal at quarterback, $2 million for Cam Newton. Steal. But it's the wrong player, wrong fit, not a good talent evaluator. And Brady covered all that up for a lot of years, guys. Not anymore. We're going to see it this year. It's going to be exposed. But, guys, I just got to say, I'm so happy to be back. It feels great to be back. Feels good to be back here in front of you guys in this freaking chair at this table, drinking some whiskey with you guys, some whiskey. I'm excited to see the comments. I'm excited to see what else you guys want us to make videos about. We got the new backdrop. We got the new studio. We got new hosts coming. We're going on the road. We're doing all sorts of stuff. Get excited. We're doing all sorts of stuff here at Say What Barstool Parlay. We're back, guys. Keep checking for the content. Everything's settled now. We're above ground. No more studio flooding. No more moving. We're back, guys. So stay around, stay tuned. And as always, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. And make sure your notifications are turned on. Help us grow the channel and make sure your notifications are turned on so when there's more cool videos coming out, you guys get to see what the heck we're talking about and who's on the show that day. You guys get to see it. Turn on your notifications. But, as always, guys, if there's anything you want to see us make a video about, we do everything sports, politics, cars, current events, whatever you guys want to see, anything you want to see us, Barstool Parlay here on the show. Make sure to leave in the comments. You never know, your next comment may be our next Barstool Parlay. Peace out, guys. Good to be back. Say what? Barstool Parlay, raw takes, no apologies. As always, I'm your host, Austin Froberg. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll be back very, very soon. Take you guys up. Guys, much love. Thanks for hanging with us through all the crap.